Anything can happen. Just not tonight in the Champions League for Celtic. They couldn't get the upset. They couldn't tame the German giants. Bayern with a 2-1 victory at Celtic Park in Glasgow. And if this tie was tough for Celtic when it was announced, it just got even tougher. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Football. When you're in the Champions League, the elite competition, you need to be elite in order to compete. And tonight, unfortunately for Celtic, they weren't up until probably with the last, 25 minutes when they really gave it a go. And fair play to them, because at the end, Bayern Munich were, can't believe I'm saying this, Bayern Munich were hanging on.
They were on the ropes, Bayern Munich, at the end, and that's the frustrating part. Celtic will just wonder, well, why couldn't we have done that for the get-go? But speaking of the get-go, they make it 1-0 with Kuhn. But that's the difference.
Perfect start.
It was. But if they make it 1-0 here, right, maybe Bayern are on the ropes for the entirety of the first half. It's the small things here. Adair, he's offside. Is he blocking Manuel Neuer? Yes. Should he not be blocking Manuel Neuer? Yes. But here, it's an unlucky situation. Kuhn, it's almost the most perfect of perfect starts, but Adair strays offside, clearly offside, and sadly for Celtic, this goal doesn't count. And this is probably the difference maker. I think if Celtic go 1-0 up, Celtic Park is completely bounced. I'm not saying Bayern can't get back into the game, of course they can, but I think this right here turned the tie on its head almost 45 seconds in.
Well, it didn't, because the goal got ruled out, so yeah, and the fans realised that we're not 1-0 up, it's 0-0. And I think RODGERS was too negative tonight, because you did see that towards the end of the game, when it was 2-0 Bayern and Celtic did begin to push, that they were causing Bayern a lot of problems. Now, you can make the argument that Celtic can't really afford to start that way, because they could get opened up and they've got to hold on to the 0-0 that they currently start the tie with. But I don't know, just after seeing what we've seen towards the end of the game, you're just thinking, what would have happened if Celtic, if they attacked like that from the beginning? What would have happened if they set out like that? And if that's the way they played this for 90 minutes? Here, you can make a case that if Celtic played the entire 90 minutes, or if they started the game the way they ended the game, maybe Bayern win by more than a goal. That's a very real possibility. But I just think that after what you've seen towards the end of the game, I do think Celtic fans will be disappointed. Maybe not seeing what the team really could have done, because what was it, like the 60th minute or something until they got their first shot?
Yeah, obviously can't count offside shots, but again, I think it highlights the importance of the second leg being at home. Because if you're away and you put in this kind of performance, I think it works. But see, when you're at home, it's like, you're right, it's that balance between, do you open up and risk it, or do you sit back and not play?
I would maybe argue, though, if this is away, you don't really see Celtic open up in the last 20-odd minutes.
No, I agree.
I think if this is away from home and Bayern have a 2-0 lead, I think RODGERS may think, right, you know what, let's just get this back. And if we score
that's why I think...
And if we score the first goal, it's game on. Whereas RODGERS is probably looking at this at 2-0 thinking, we need to go for it here, because we can't afford to go to Germany trailing 2 goals. So, it's a totally different mindset.
No, it is, but that's where it's the tough juggle. It's like, would you rather be 2-1 down going into the away second leg, or would you rather be 2-0 down going into the second legs at home? It's all about the mental game. It's all about the home advantage.
Look, easy to say with hindsight, but I just wonder, was RODGERS a wee bit too negative here? Was he a wee bit too cautious, or who knows? Is this a good result?
I think the 7-1 of Dortmund is probably thinking it, sitting in the back of his head like, I do not want another one of them. But you know what? I don't think Bayern were that good today, and I think a lot of that could be down to the Celtic defending.
You said that you wouldn't take this before the start of the game, but you can. The one thing that you cannot say about this result, the tie's not over.
Nope.
As difficult as it looks now for Celtic, and as unlikely as it is for Celtic to go to Germany and win, the tie at 2-1 is not over. Celtic could have been a lot more attacking, a lot more open tonight from the beginning, and possibly shipped a few more goals. And I think once you're going away from home and you're more than a goal behind, then the tie is really difficult.
Why I don't think you take this for the game, though, before it, is because, you're Celtic, you're at home in the first of 2 legs. I just don't think taking a narrow defeat's good enough. I don't care who it's against. I think you need to put your standards higher. I mean, I think there was people flooding in the scoreboard and saying they would have taken 0-0 draw. Absolutely. 0-0 draw is good. I think 2-1 getting beat is good when you factor out they were 2-0 down. But before the game, no, you wouldn't take 2-1. Different if you're away, but yeah. Anyway, we'll move into the game. Olesi has a shot saved by Schmeichel. Will he be able to save one later on? Probably not. Kane had a curling effort. Saved. Sané had a shot saved. Kane at the back post, then had a header saved. No, actually, he had one in the 6-yard box saved. He was offside. It was straight at Schmeichel, but you know what? Schmeichel's very good with his feet. I know a goalie that wouldn't have saved this, but Kane would have been offside. And then a corner.
Yeah, but it's poor for Kane, man. He's got a free header and he's aiming it right. And here, yeah, you can give Schmeichel credit here for the save, but I mean, it is directed towards his feet. If Kane directs this either to the left or to the right, I mean, there's loads of room for how close Kane is. He should be able to put this in. Do you not think so? Either to the left-hand post or right-hand post.
The wages this guy's on, the goals he scored, there's no excuse not to put this in. Wouldn't have counted, but he still needs to put it in.
He should be putting this either left or right of Schmeichel and giving him no chance, really.
Yeah, but
for that short a distance out. But, he didn't. Schmeichel made the save, but, I mean, it was offside either way, so wouldn't account it. And, I mean, it was looking like Celtic may get into the break at 0-0.
Yeah, Kane missed another back post header not long after that. But then, Michael Olesi cuts in. He got actually pretty lucky. I mean, a lot of people are going to bash Greg Taylor for this, but it was unlucky. He actually makes the initial, tackle, bounces off him onto Olesi. At this point, he's snookered. You have to rely on Casper. I think it's a wee bit unfair on Casper to rely on him to save this because it's top bins.
Joe Hart says that at this point, Greg Taylor's relying on his goalkeeper to save him. No goalkeeper saving this.
No.
So, I mean...
Unless he's 20 foot tall or something.
Yeah, there's nothing the keeper can do here. So, it's 1-0 at the break. Disappointing. Can't really say... I mean, I don't think Bayern were great, but I mean, I wouldn't begrudge them a 1. I think they've done enough to probably deserve a 1-0 lead at the break.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of calls at half-time on Twitter to get Rio Atati off the pitch, saying that he looked done, he looked knackered. I don't think Atati was that bad in the first half, to be honest.
No, I didn't really see a poor performance there.
Yeah, I'm not saying it was particularly good, but I'm not saying what Twitter was saying. We then go into the second half. Sané has a shot dragged wide. We have a corner from this. Back post, Harry Kane, unmarked. Great finish, but, I mean, again, as we pointed out earlier, a guy of this wages, man, back post, unmarked. He should be scoring, and that's what he does. It's really poor from Celtic's point of view because, I think Harry Kane is easily one of the best strikers in the world, and leaving one of the best strikers, leaving any striker unmarked at the back post is ridiculous.
Unless it's us on FIFA, then, you'll probably get away with it.
Oh, you might get away with it, but they didn't get away with this. 2-0. But this is what woke up Celtic, because not long after this, you had a Tatty here, a shot blocked. Then we get the penalty incident. Right. Now, to the naked eye, it didn't look like much. But then VAR came in. He's actually onside. Abubakanu stamps on Engels. It looks like the clearest penalty you'll ever see. But then another replay shows that Abubakanu got a flick on the ball just before he connects with Engels. Correct decision. They got there in the end. No penalty. But, if this is in Scotland, this is 110% given.
You think so?
Aye. Celtic Park against Ross County. Bloody Jordan White does this on Arnie Engels, and you're trying to tell me they were not in a month of Sundays.
In real time, it looks like a penalty. Because it looks like Engels has tipped the ball away, and Upamecano has stamped on his foot. That's what it looks like. But you slow it down, you see it from other angles, you see that Upamecano actually gets to the ball first. And then you've got Engels, who's slightly late coming into... He's just behind Upamecano, and his foot just goes underneath Upamecano's foot, and you can't call that a foul. For what? I mean, because Engels has placed his foot underneath Upamecano's foot, so when you look at it real time, it does look like a penalty. When you see different angles and you slow it down, you actually see that it's the right call is not to give a penalty.
What I liked about it, they actually took time on VAR to get this right. They didn't just wave it away after one replay. He looked at it, identified it, and didn't give it. It's the correct call. People can greet if they want, but it's absolutely the correct call. You don't know the fucking rules here if you think this is a penalty.
Well, I'm sure there'll be people that claiming for it, but
No, no, of course they will be. Yo, like we said, when you see the replay, you would be screaming for this. But once it's slowed down, you actually look at it, it's definitely not a penalty. Maeda then manages to pickpocket the ball. He can't get it past Neuer. But then Celtic have a corner. It comes out to Yang after a wee hit down.
Before we talk about that, do you think it makes a difference, the fact that it wasn't given and they were looking back to give it? Do you think if this was given, then they might not have overturned it?
I think if it was given, they might not have overturned it, because I think what would have happened is they would have quickly went over it. They would have went over it far quicker, and they wouldn't have spotted that, I think. So, yeah, but here, that's all hypotheticals, man. We want to deal in absolutes here, but Dyson Maeda absolutely made no mistake about this. He looked offside, but that was for Trusty's pass to Yang, onside for the Yang pass. 2-1, Dyson Maeda on absolute fire. They needed him, and this goal right here proved it. 2-1. And this is when Bayern kind of folded, man. Ball fizzed across the box. Neuer, I mean, what age is Neuer, man?
I mean, the first, again, similar to the penalty, like looking at it first time, you thought he was off, but then you actually see that there's a second bit of contact there, and by the time the second touch is made, Maeda's in an onside position.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you, like, you know, like, maybe these are decisions that in real time, like, maybe wouldn't, you know, you can, VAR, if used correctly, is a positive thing.
No, of course it is. Of course it is. Neuer misses the ball for a cross here. Jota almost gets in. Hatate then has a shot blocked. Johnston has a shot saved. And Celtic actually end the game with pretty even stats to Bayern Munich. It was 9 shots to 10 and 7 corners each. But see, before this point of the game, Celtic were nowhere near in it. Bayern didn't have any other chances after this. And I think that's... I predicted 2 each. It very easily could have finished 2 each, but it's a game that could have went away for Celtic. It's a game they actually, I mean, they could have been dreamland.
I bet Brendan Rodgers is wishing that there was another 15, 20 minutes to go.
Yep.
Because only one team looked like getting a 4th goal here.
Right, absolutely.
And it was, it was Celtic.
Yep.
But, I think that, did they need to capitalise on that? Did they need an equaliser? Does Brendan Rodgers... it's tricky.
I don't think Bayern don't look the Bayern of a cup. I mean, they don't look like the Bayern of a decade ago, put it that way. You know, the Bayern that put Arsenal to the sword 5-1, 4-0, you know, scud at Barca a million times. Like, you know, I'm talking about your Robins, your Ribéry's, your Mandzukic, your prime Mullers, your prime Neuers, you know, your Boatengs, your Philip Lambs of this world, a younger Kimmich, etc., etc. Lewandowski up front.
Hummels.
Yeah, I mean, we could literally go on and name a lot more players. Schweinsteiger, that's plenty. They're not quite that Bayern for me. But it's just the fact that Celtic have to go to the Allianz. If they were taking this 2-1 defeat from the Allianz, I'd be like, oh, this is very open. But here, get the first goal. Dyson Maeda press in the second leg. You just never know. And that's the good thing.
Yeah, but we know that, I think we can all bet that Celtic are not going to start that second leg the way they ended tonight.
Oh, no.
You know,
no, I don't think that's the correct way to go about it, to be honest. I think Celtic in the Allianz should realistically park the bus, play on the counter, and if you get within 15 minutes, 20 minutes to go for it and try and get that goal.
Easier said than done.
Oh, fuck, of course it's easier.
Get to the 70-minute mark, 0-0. I mean, that's going to be tricky.
No, of course it's easier said than done, but, I mean, it can be done. It has to be done. That's what they've got to go for. They're not going to go to the Allianz and out playing Bayern Munich at the end of the day. So we'll see how it goes, guys. I mean, we've seen them try and play this.
I just don't think Celtic can afford to go there and have play the way they did tonight for the first 60 minutes. I don't think they can afford to do that in the second leg.
I know, but that Dortmund game's going to be in the back of their head.
They've got to go for it. They're goal behind. Who cares if they get beat 7-1 again? That can happen when you're taking on the top team. I hope that Celtic go for it. I'd like to see... I wouldn't like them just to sit back and just take a low scoring defeat and you're like, oh well, we kept the scoreline respectable. I mean, they're behind, they're trailing. We've seen what Celtic can do when they're on the front foot.
I'm not saying...
No, but we've seen what Celtic could do when they were pushing back Bayern and on the front foot. And yeah, Bayern had a lead, so therefore they were holding on to it. I'm not saying Celtic can do that when they go to Germany and it's 0-0, but I would like to see Celtic be a bit more adventurous in the second leg than they were tonight for the opening hour. 'Cause,
No, I know, but I'm not saying
I mean,
hold.
they're not a single shot for the first hour.
I'm not saying hold back and defend a defeat. I'm talking about defend the 0-0 for as long as possible. But here, I'm not a manager, neither are you. The coefficient cup's well and truly in the bin this midweek because there's nothing on the board. Will there be any on the board
Well,
next
here,
week?
there's a bigger gap in finances between Queen's Park and Rangers than there is between Celtic and Bayern. So and anything can happen. So I'd like to see Celtic go for it in the second leg.
Can we confirm that?
Of course it is. Fucking course it is. You mean confirm it?
I know I'm joking. Right, anyway. I mean, we almost got through a video here with Rangers and Queen's Park getting
I
mentioned.
know, but it deserves to be mentioned. That was a shocking result.
Petrocub, mate.
That's not that bad.
It fucking is.
No, it's no.
You should be playing tomorrow. We should be talking about Hearts tomorrow. What are we going to talk about tomorrow?
Talk about Hearts when we win the Scottish Cup, right? How about that?
Who's beating in that?
Hopefully this team here.
Bayern Munich. Anyway, till then. Peace.